I mean, let's do the Patriots. Bill Belichick, I mean, the GOAT. I mean, regardless of what you feel about him, what happened, all this Spygate, all that other stuff, I mean, he's still the GOAT to me. Best coach I've seen in my era. Like me growing up, actually sitting and watching games, actually sitting and watching adjustments, all that stuff. He's the GOAT to me as far as who I've seen live. Matt Jones did a solid job last year. I mean, I think he did a solid job for who he was and what system he was. I fear for him for what it is in this system. Like, you don't have an office coordinator or they gonna run the same stuff. I think, when you lose the office coordinator, regardless of how you feel about him, when you lose the office coordinator type of mind that he had, McDaniels, and now you're trying to start over, it's tough. Even with Bill Belichick running the strings, it's tough to replace that. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. So I want to see what he does. They lost some players. They got some players. I think all this is going to be on coaching. Overall outlook, the AFC is good. The AFC is tough. Don't get me twisted. Out of respect for Bill Belichick, I can't see New England not make the playoffs. I just can't see it. I just can't. I mean, regardless of what's going on with Bill Belichick, his mind, his motivation, I can't see New England not making the playoffs. So I'm gonna say 10 plus wins for them, and I'm gonna see a playoff. I'm not gonna say a seed. They're not winning the AFC East. I'm not gonna be bold enough to say that. But I can see them win. I can see them going to playoffs. I ain't gonna say if they're gonna get out first round, but I'm gonna say 10 plus wins for the Patriots, and they go to playoffs.
All right, Craig, Patriots.
Well, I'm not even gonna say nothing about Bill Belichick because obviously he's Bill Belichick. So I'm gonna move on. The quarterback, Mack Jones. They heard he's been struggling in camp from what I've been watching on TV or something like that. But it is what it is. He's having to deal with a new offensive coordinator or whatever they got going on, whoever they're naming offensive coordinator up there. I don't know. So, he's going to have to deal with that. But, he's a second-year guy. Sometimes you just have the second-year struggle. So hopefully he can figure it out and they can get that together going on up there because they're going to definitely have to rely a lot on him like they did last year. I think he's probably in tune for another solid season if he can figure out what's going on and try to make it all work. The running backs are just all over the place there, but I mean they've always been like that. It seems in New England. I can't remember the last time they actually had like a really good number one, probably Corey Dillon or something like that. I don't know. It's been a long time ago.
You took it back.
I can't remember the last time they actually had somebody that was a number one, like a significant number one. Like they have Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson and Ty Montgomery. Like they have a three-headed monster thing like they've had for years. So I don't know who's going to emerge from that group as far as being the actual number one, but I mean they have a lot of guys that they can rely on if they need to. Somebody steps up or whatever it is, or somebody steps down, they have another guy that can refill that role. So what else? I'm sorry, I got a draft pick on. But I do like the wide receivers. I like the pickup of Devontae Parker. I've always liked Devontae Parker. I think he's just been some guy that just hasn't been able to stay healthy on the field a lot of the times. But I'm pretty sure he's probably gonna get hurt again. But I think if he can stay healthy, I think he can be a really good wide receiver, really good receiver for Mack Jones. Mack Jones, unfortunately, hasn't had any receivers since he's been there, so it's kind of been like Tom Brady all over again. But he's working with what he's got. Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne. I don't know. Jacoby Myers had a really bad season last year. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. They went out and signed these guys last year, and they expect big things from these guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do this year in year number 2. So they have okay guys that they can throw the ball to, but nobody's like a real big household name or a real big receiver or anything like that. So we'll have to see what happens there with that team or with that group. The offensive line looks okay. New England's pretty much always had a solid offensive line, so I don't really see any thing to worry about there. The defense is what's going to be key because New England's defense has pretty much always been like the one consistent thing going on. Besides Tom Brady, it's been like the most consistent thing for the Patriots organizations ever since like 2000 or something like that. They've always had really good defensive guys. Now, I will say that the loss of J.C. Jackson is really to me, it's going to hurt them. I think he was a really good shutdown corner, and you know he got paid what he got paid for a reason. So I think that's going to really probably hinder their defense a little bit. But you know, signing Peppers I think helps. They went out and got they went out and got Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler went out and got him. Devin McCourty, they re-signed him. So they have a lot of decent players on that team, a lot of guys that you know from around the league. I don't expect the Patriots to be dropping off too far from what they did last year, although I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I know Bill Belichick, like you really can't bet against them. You can't count against them or anything like that. And far be it for me to do that, but I just think the AFC is loaded. So I had to go 8-9 for the Patriots.
Quick, right before you go, Corey, Craig, LeGarrette Blount,
no,
Kevin Falk,
no,
and James White. Those were kind of like.
No, I know they had Lawrence Maroney back then or whatever, but I'm talking about a guy who.
Yeah, Maroney never lived up to the first round billing.
He didn't.
No.
Guys, I could think that could be like a number one. Only I can think of was Corey Dillon. I don't.
Corey Dillon, and you gotta go way back to Curtis Martin.
Yeah.
95 to 97.
Way back because I remember him mostly for the Jets.
Yeah. Sony Michel. Also, he had that one
he never
good
lived
year.
up to that first round billing either.
No. So I just looked at the website.
Corey Dillon wasn't even on that team. He started out with the Bengals. So I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the lead back in a couple of their Super Bowl wins.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So
carrying their offense with a young quarterback.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Corey. I just wanted to mention that. The running back.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Not much to say about Bill Belichick. Yes, he's a cheater, been caught cheating multiple times, but he's also arguably the greatest coach in NFL history. So it is what it is. Offensively, I'm not sure what to make of this unit. Devontae Parker should be a big upgrade at wide receiver for them, although I feel like he's more of a number 2 wide receiver. Jacoby Myers keeps getting a lot of run, a lot of hype, and I don't see him developing into being a number 1 guy. It already sounds like they may be looking to get out of Nelson Aguilar, who they egregiously overpaid. They always seem to get production out of the running backs. It's insane. It's why I never come close to touching them in fantasy football, because Bill Belichick hates fantasy football and seems to intentionally screw over fantasy owners. He had praise for Stevenson the other day, although it seemed like Damian Harris is still kind of atop their unofficial depth charts. I didn't realize they brought in Ty Montgomery, but he's an interesting potential replacement for James White, who recently retired. I think their line should be okay, but who's calling plays? Like, what are they doing? You have a young quarterback who showed promise as a rookie, outperformed all expectations on him, showed himself to be a capable NFL quarterback at a minimum. I mean, as Mo said, say what you will about Josh McDaniels and him being a train wreck as a head coach, but he was a good offensive coordinator in his time in New England, and he had a big role in helping keep that offensive system rolling for all those years under Belichick. And it seems like when you have a second-year quarterback that you're trying to develop to become the guy, you would want to pair him with a good offensive mind to help him grow, and not stick him with Matt Patricia fighting with Joe Judge for offensive duties, your former defensive coordinator and your former special teams coordinator. What are you doing, Belichick? I don't want to question it because he's Bill Belichick, but it's just, what are you doing? Defensively, they do have talent on that side of the ball. Centered around Matthew Judon. I do still like their secondary, even though they did have some losses. And J.C. Jackson, one of the McCourty brothers retired. Excuse me. And Malcolm Butler did actually just get put on IR the other day, so his season's already over for them. But that defensive unit's probably going to have to step up and help carry that team if they want to make a playoff run, because it sounds like Mack Jones has kind of struggled a little bit. The team has been uncharacteristically undisciplined in the practices with the Panthers and picking fights, and it sounded like Mack Jones was mouthing off to a couple of Panthers and helping instigate a fight, and it sounds like it may be a little bit of a weird year in New England. Overall, I don't really know what to expect from them. I don't know if Belichick's maybe past his prime, lost his touch. I think the 3 playoff spots, the wild card spots in the AFC, are coming out of 2 divisions. So I think the AFC East is one of the 2 divisions that you're going to have to win the division to get in. And I don't think the Patriots did enough this offseason to upgrade this roster to the point to be past Buffalo. I'm going to say I think they can get to 10-7, but I do think that they're going to end up on the outside looking in when it comes to the loaded playoff picture in the AFC.
Man, you guys are nice. You're giving the Patriots 10 wins.
I said 8.
Oh, 8. Okay. Well, Corey, the Belichick is not beyond reproach.
Yeah, that's fair. He surprised last year. I think did a lot better than people were expecting with a rookie quarterback, but Joe Judge and Matt Patricia don't seem like offensive coordinators, and it seems like you could be potentially stunting the growth of your quarterback in playing games like this.
Yeah, I agree. The head coach needs an introduction, guys. Bill Belichick. One of the best coaches ever. It's been repeated over and over again, which it should be. But he's making some odd choices at offensive coordinator. Craig has reiterated it. Corey has said it. I hear it all the time. It's not just us. Everybody's asking this. It's odd. Whether it's Matt Patricia or Joe Judge, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be an adjustment for Mack Jones, which is so very interesting when you see the league going to a quarterback-centric league, and you see the potential you have in Mack Jones, who I think ceiling is, max ceiling. I might be wrong, but Kirk Cousins, that's good. That's what I think. But like, if the league is going towards quarterback centric and you're regressing your quarterback, I don't know if that makes sense. If you see all the other teams in the AFC, the Bills, the Dolphins, right? Can't say the Ravens, they have Lamar Jackson, right? You got Cincinnati, right? You have Cleveland, who just got Deshaun. I'm not counting them this year. But then you still have, right? But if we're going future, you got Deshaun, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Tua, Russell Wilson in Denver, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes. This is just in the AFC. So if you have a quarterback like Mack Jones and you see what's going on in the NFL, you gotta pivot and adjust. And it just seems odd that Bill Belichick's not doing that. That's from my standpoint. So Mack Jones I think he's in the second year. And he looks to continue his growth, but once again, he might regress because of who's not surrounded with and who he is surrounded with. And he a quarterback needs consistency and confidence. And I don't know if the Patriots are providing that right now. I don't see it. The running backs, once again, they're by committee. Damian Harris and Stevenson. Harris almost had 1,000 yards, so he should look to build on that. But this has been going on for, maybe Craig said it, man. LeGarrette Blount did have it for a second. Corey Dillon, but after that, it's been kind of a rotation. And it looks like it's going to continue. The receiving core is better than last year with Devontae Parker, but that's not really saying that much. And I like Devontae Parker, but I don't know if he's ever turned a corner in Miami. And he's going to the Patriots, who's not big offense-centric. The Titans are great, though. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Hopefully they should be able to maybe run some 2 tight end sets to open it up. I didn't see a lot of that last year. Maybe I'm wrong. It could have been. O-line, they got Isaiah went back. Right tackle, Trent Brown. Cole Strange. He should fit right in with the offense. Defense is always good, man. You got Barrymore, Devon Gotchex is hold down the middle. The edge is back. Matthew Judon has been having a great camp. He's going to be dominant again. Dante Hightower was replaced with Uche, and that's something Belichick knows is the defense, and I think Uche is going to be good. That's what I do trust Belichick with. I trust him with the offense. I just don't understand this. I don't understand. Even if he said I'm calling plays, I'm like, all right, Bill. But it's just weird that he's leaving them too. So, but anyway, Malcolm Butler. They lost him for the year. I think that was a big loss because, like Craig said, J.C. Jackson went to the Chargers. So Jalen Mills is having a great camp, by the way, but he's going to have to hold it down. And then, of course, the vet, Devin McCourty's back for his 13th season with Kyle Duggar. So, listen, I'm not worried about the defense. I think the defense is going to be phenomenal. But here's my overall prediction, man. The Patriots, they're going to have a great defense. But the NFL is moving toward the offensive side of the ball. And the AFC is tough. Like I said, the Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Pats are left out. And I think because Belichick is unwilling, his unwillingness to adapt to the offensive side of the ball will deflate this season. All right, y'all didn't get it. All right, so I have them winning like 7 games, man. I got them going, 7, maybe 8, but I don't see them. I don't see them getting to 10, man. I don't.
So James, question for you then:
Mm-hmm.
If New England underachieves and goes 7-10,
Mm-hmm.
does Belichick stay?
Yeah. But I think the owner is going to start having a conversation. I think it's going to be.
I pose that saying more so meaning not does he choose to stay? Does Robert Kraft choose to keep him on?
Yeah, I think they're gonna start having a conversation. I think it's gonna be a conversation. I think it's gonna be a conversation.
Please.
I think it has to be. It has to be a conversation at this point. Because they had a losing season. That's how they got Mack Jones. Go to the playoffs and you have another season with Mack Jones. Yeah, I would just question, like, okay, so we missed the playoffs, go 7-10. What's up with the offensive coordinators? You know, questions are going to have to get asked. You know, where do we see, what is your, you know, your goals? Because it, you know, I get, you gotta, they're going to have a conversation. They have to. I don't know if he'll get fired, but there's going to be a conversation.
I would say maybe a
discussion
push into retirement.
Oh, maybe. It's going to be a discussion. It'll be like Robert Kraft meets with Bill Belichick in the offseason. That's where we're going to hear that. That's going to come up.